I am a hopeless romantic. In the third year of marriage, something called the marital infidelity compensation system found me. The system said that as long as my husband had marital infidelity, I could get compensation. I was dismissive. System, you better be. My husband and I were first loves. After 3 years of marriage, we are still inseparable. How could he be unfaithful during marriage? However, on the night of our wedding anniversary, my husband called and said he had to work overtime. Infidelity compensation received, 10,000 yuan. Me. Today is the 3rd anniversary of my marriage to my husband. Early in the morning, I happily decorated the house, determined to give my husband a big surprise. But just then, a voice suddenly rang out in my mind. Hello, Miss Pan. Let's learn about the marital infidelity compensation system. I almost screamed in fright. Who? Who's talking? The voice that answered me was extremely elegant. Marital infidelity compensation. The ultimate service specially prepared for hopeless romantics. 1 second for damage assessment. 2 seconds for compensation. And 3 seconds for the money to arrive. I looked at the nanny and gardener at home. They were all working hard and seemed to not hear this strange voice at all. So only I can hear it? Crazy. Now insurance sellers don't do telemarketing but brain marketing? I don't buy insurance. You've misunderstood. Marital infidelity compensation is a new project launched by our system. Now we provide humanitarian assistance to disabled people like you who are suffering from hopeless romanticism. This service does not charge you insurance premiums. What a big pie. Was this pie just scolding me? All day long. This insurance seller hasn't stopped in my mind. As night falls and seeing that my husband who has been on a business trip for many days is about to return home, I must quickly get rid of this spoil-sport system. Will you leave? Today is my wedding anniversary with my husband. Thinking of this day, I am both happy and shy. I'm afraid that if you don't leave soon, you'll see scenes not suitable for children. The system seemed to be choked for a moment and was silent for several seconds. No, we are a system with humanitarian spirit. We will never give up on any severely hopeless romantic patient. I adjusted the table setting on the dining table and opened a bottle of red wine. Confidently, I said, "You've found the wrong person. My husband is handsome and charming. Dashing and handsome. After 3 years of marriage, we are still inseparable. No matter who is unfaithful, he will never be unfaithful." The system disdainfully sneered. Every hopeless romantic says so. I was so angry that I wished I could punch this broken system. You wait to be slapped in the face. And then I was slapped in the face. It was already 9 p.m., and my husband still hadn't come back. I was fidgeting. I took out the number in my mobile phone contacts with the note handsome guy, and called. Hello, husband. When he picked up, I wished I could stretch the wavy line at the end into 2 meters long. I don't know if it was an auditory hallucination, but I always felt that the system made a retching sound in my mind. At the same time, my husband's voice, 3 parts aloof, 3 parts cold, and 4 parts nonchalant, leaked out of the receiver. There are still some problems with the project. I have to stay at the company tonight to watch over it. I won't go home first. But today is our wedding anniversary. Before I could finish speaking, my husband said a few words to the person on the other end of the phone and hung up directly. The system seemed to have caught conclusive evidence and started a 360 degrees around stereo in my head. See? He doesn't even remember our wedding anniversary. He must be going on a date with his mistress. I was unhappy. Don't you say that about my husband. He is so handsome and definitely won't be unfaithful. As soon as I finished speaking, a mechanical broadcast sound rang out mercilessly. Infidelity compensation received, 10,000 yuan. Me. Seeing me stunned in place, the system started to show off. You see, we are a proper system, and never engage in cheating and swindling. I blinked blankly. What? What does this mean? The system explained, "We have surveyed and assessed the damage. Your husband has engaged in substantial marital infidelity behavior. The compensation amount is 10,000 yuan, indicating that your husband just affectionately kissed another woman." As if to be helpful, it added, "The kind of kiss without sticking out the tongue." I was stunned, and tears welled up in my eyes immediately. "You stinky insurance sellers are liars. You cannot believe me. But you have to believe the money." As if to confirm its words, the mechanical broadcast sound rang again. "Infidelity compensation received, 30,000 yuan." The system calmly added, "This is the price for a French kiss." I stood up abruptly and angrily rushed into the cloakroom. "Tell me the address. I want to break them up." The system's voice was full of confusion. "Miss Pan, your husband's marital infidelity is a foregone conclusion. Even if you break them up tonight, you can't prevent him from continuing to be unfaithful in the future." I don't listen. I was in tears. I opened the closet and spent 40 minutes hesitating over more than 50 custom-made little dresses. Finally, I chose a green one and put it on. "I must go." I sobbed and finished doing my skincare. "Today is our wedding anniversary." I sadly applied foundation. How could Yasushi not accompany me? I heartbreakably did my eye makeup and put on blush. He is so handsome. I looked at the lipstick color I was not satisfied with in heartbreak. How could he be unfaithful? I picked lipsticks, earrings, bracelets, necklaces, sunglasses, dresses, from the managers of various brand specialty stores. Well, the system's voice rang out, as if from another world. "It has been 10 hours since you proposed to catch them in the act." With swollen eyes, I looked out of the window. It was dawn. There was a sound downstairs in the villa. I heard the nannies call out, "Sir." I hurriedly ran downstairs and saw my husband Yasushi, whom I hadn't seen for many days. The top 2 buttons of his shirt were undone, and his face was still so handsome that it made my heart flutter. "Husband," I cried and ran over and turned myself into his arms. After Yasushi saw my face clearly, he frowned. "Why are you crying?" Tears streamed down my face immediately. "Yesterday was our 3rd anniversary. Don't you remember?" Yasushi held me and was stunned, seeing the big meal and red wine that hadn't been eaten last night still on the dining table. He panicked immediately. "Sorry. The company has really been too busy recently." I pretended to be angry and hummed. "Then you quickly coax me." Yasushi smiled and asked softly, Okay. How do you want me to coax you? Then will hubby help me pay the bill?" I happily leaned against him and showed him the long shopping list I had been picking for 10 hours on my phone. Yasushi readily agreed. The system was so anxious that it almost screamed, "You won't forgive him just like this, right? Are you out of your mind?" Yasushi moved his finger and paid my bill of more than 1 million yuan. I shyly followed him to the bedroom and said to the system in my mind, "But he directly paid 1 million yuan for me. He still loves me very much. That's his guilt after having an affair." I didn't argue with the system. Back in the bedroom, I watched my husband lie on the bed tiredly after taking a bath and fall into a deep sleep. I propped myself up next to him, looking at this handsome face with satisfaction. I couldn't help but trace his tall nose with my index finger. Sigh. I couldn't help but sigh. If only I could tear this face off and make it into a specimen. The system made a shocked sound. "Huh? This way. This handsome face will never grow old." After being quiet in my mind for a while, I suddenly heard the sound of an electric current flowing. What is the system doing? I need to confirm with the main control system whether you are a hopeless romantic or a pervert. The wedding anniversary incident was so lightly overlooked. The system kept yelling in my mind every day, feeling extremely disappointed. Until half a month later, when I returned home after having afternoon tea, I found Yasushi fully dressed as if he was about to go on a long journey. Yasushi looked at me, expressionless. There was even excitement in his tone. The marketing department has won a big order from the UK. I'll take them on a trip for a few days to reward them. I was stunned. What great achievement requires the president to personally accompany them on a trip? Yasushi was helpless. My personal presence represents my attention to them. Only then will they be more motivated in the future. The system started yelling again. It's not them. It's her. Your husband took his mistress to the UK some time ago. He completed the cooperation in 2 days. Then the two of them spent 10 days traveling in Northern Europe. Your husband even forgot your wedding anniversary later. Such a scumbag. If you don't divorce him now, when will you? I ignored the system. Hug Yasushi. Then be careful on the road and come home early. Okay? Seeing me being gentle and sensible, Yasushi was very satisfied and transferred another 2 million yuan to my card. After seeing him off, I sighed to the system. You see, he still loves me. He gave me 2 million yuan at once. The system said weakly, matching with you, a hopeless romantic, is really a sin in my system life. The system said that Yasushi went to an ancient town in the province. It is not very commercialized and is very suitable for retirement and dating. That night, the mechanical broadcast sound rang again. Infidelity compensation received, 10,000 yuan, 30,000 yuan, 50,000 yuan. Me? The system said leisurely, your husband first kissed the mistress, then had a French kiss, and now he is directly touching her. What a vivid transfer. My eyes became hot. I want to find Yasushi. He must explain it clearly to me. The system roared, can you be a bit more clear-headed? What's there to explain? You directly collect evidence of his infidelity, and then divorce and take half of his property. Wouldn't that be great? I don't care. Yasushi is so handsome and loves me so much. He will definitely explain it clearly. I cried so hard that I could barely catch my breath and quickly ran back to the bedroom. The system said anxiously, it's already 9 p.m. Are you going to the ancient town so late? I ignored it. With red eyes and heartbroken, I took good care of my skin, put on an eye mask, and lay down to sleep. The system asked weakly, it's only 9 p.m. Are you going to sleep so early? I slept well and got up early the next day and directly went to the ancient town. At the door of a noodle restaurant in the ancient town, I saw Yasushi. There was a woman standing beside him. That woman was also affectionately holding his arm. The two didn't know what they were talking about. Yasushi was smiling very happily. The last time I saw him smile like this was when we exchanged rings. I knew this woman. She was said to be a dark horse in the marketing department named Alea. Tears streamed down my face immediately. I called out a grieved lie. Husband. The two of them looked over and instantly turned pale. Yasushi shook off the woman's hand and quickly walked towards me. There was a flash of jealousy in the woman's eyes. She slowly followed. The system almost shouted, Miss Pan, beat up the scumbag and the mistress. Now. Yasushi held my face with heartache. Why are you here? I said a grieved lie. Didn't I say it? The theme of the art exhibition in the second half of the year is ancient towns. I've wanted to come here for inspiration for a long time. You didn't even tell me that you were traveling to this place. Yasushi's expression stiffened. He seemed to not remember when I had said that. For a moment, his eyebrows and eyes were stained with guilt. You also took away the Rolls-Royce that I doctor most smoothly. I wiped away my tears. So I could only come here by high-speed rail. The system made a puzzled sound. Wait. Miss Pan. Wasn't it your family driver who sent you here this morning? It's all my fault. I'm not good. Yasushi held my hand and kept apologizing. Will I give this Rolls-Royce to you to drive from now on? Alea behind Yasushi looked at him incredulously. Full of reluctance. System, quickly accept it. Don't be polite. Drive it hard. I was sensible. But you also like it. We are husband and wife. I can't be so selfish. System, are you sick? Yasushi felt even more guilty. I was wrong. Then how about this? I'll buy a new one for you? Alea was anxious. Yasushi. A new one costs more than 8 million. The system sneered. The mistress is anxious. The money she earned for Yasushi's company through all her efforts is all used to buy you a car. There was a glimmer of innocence stupidity in my eyes. I looked at Yasushi blankly. Husband. Is this the company's financial person? Is the company's recent business situation not very good? Yasushi glanced back at Alea. Alea's face was full of reluctance and she awkwardly stepped aside. How could it be? It's my responsibility to support you. Yasushi turned around and hugged me and said. In the end, Yasushi really bought me a new Rolls-Royce. Different from the old one. This new one is in my name. I touched my beloved car. Full of happiness. I knew Yasushi loves me. Yes. Yes. Although he stayed in the ancient town with the mistress. Although they had a French kiss immediately after you left. Yasushi loves you. For a moment. I even felt that the system rolled its eyes. Life went on uneventfully. For a full 2 months, my infidelity compensation kept receiving compensation amounts ranging from 10,000 to 50,000 yuan intermittently. I didn't show any reaction. The system seemed to have given up too. It didn't make a sound for 3 days. Until the eve of the Mid-Autumn Festival. My best friend called me. What's wrong with you? My best friend Mariana's voice was panicked. I was standing in the studio on the top floor of the villa. I was baffled. I'm painting at home. What could happen to me? Mariana breathed a sigh of relief. Then she screamed again. At the charity dinner at Jasmine Manor. Your husband went to the banquet with another woman. And you still have the mind to paint? I was stunned. He didn't tell me there was a banquet. Are you stupid? He's cuckolding you and you still don't know? Mariana's scream was even louder. Oh my God. The woman he's with is so arrogant. Those who don't know might think she is Mrs. Liu. Coincidentally, the mechanical broadcast sound rang at this moment. Compensation received, 500. 0 yuan. Compensation received, 400. 0 yuan. I was startled by this amount. Why is there so much money coming in this time? The system finally popped up and explained, the prices are different. And the processes are also different. 500. 0 yuan and 400. 0 yuan are not the same degree. After saying that, it deliberately pretended to be surprised. Oh my God. They are actually messing around in the bathroom of the charity dinner. I wanted to cry again. Don't cry. Mariana shouted. I order you to put on the most beautiful dress and come here within 2 hours. After hanging up Mariana's call, I put on my makeup while sobbing. After changing into my evening gown, I looked at myself in the mirror with red eyes and posed a few times. Hiss. The system said. You still have the mind to pose and admire your own beauty? Aren't you sad? I'm sad. As soon as I spoke, my voice was extremely hoarse. Yasushi is such a good-looking person. How could he do such a dirty thing? I listlessly got into the Rolls-Royce that Yasushi bought for me, and asked the driver to take me to Jasmine Manor. At the moment when the car door closed, I heard the system murmur thoughtfully, what a strange feeling. At Jasmine Manor, there was a lively gathering inside. Outside the door was the cold moonlight. My eyes were still red. I stood at the gate, and couldn't bring myself to step in. Just then, the evening breeze blew, lifting a few strands of my hair. Are you taking pictures for a photo shoot? The system was getting more and more impolite. Before, it would still call me Miss Pan. Now it has learned to swear. Mariana saw me from afar but didn't come directly. Instead, she walked around to the vicinity of Yasushi and Alea. Then she showed a look of surprise and joy. From afar, I saw Yasushi's back tense up instantly. I was pulled to Yasushi's side by Mariana. With red eyes, I looked at him silently. Yasushi quickly shook off Alea's hand and walked over to hug me. He stroked my hair and comforted me softly. I thought you would be busy with the art exhibition. Mariana sneered. She deliberately raised her voice a bit. Even if RR is busy, she can still spare an evening to attend the banquet. Yasushi is really interesting. On such a grand occasion, instead of bringing his wife, he brings his subordinate. She patted her chest. It scared me. I thought you two had a fight. After she said that, there were whispers in the venue. I was also wondering. I thought Yasushi had divorced and remarried. So was I. But seeing how affectionate they are, I didn't dare to ask. I gave Yasushi a wrong look. It was my arrogance. Yasushi lowered his eyes slightly. His tone was sincere. The hand around my waist tightened again. Mariana glanced at Alea. Alaya's fingers were tightly twisting her evening gown. But she didn't dare to be arrogant. She silently stepped back and tried to hide in the crowd. I looked into Yasushi's eyes. Then you have to remember to bring me next time. In my heart, work is not as important as you. The system sighed loudly in my mind. I really want to wake you up. Mariana suddenly looked at me. I looked at her for a few seconds. Then she looked away and smiled. So it was a misunderstanding. Yasushi is such an upright person. People always unconsciously want to hold him to a perfect standard. The people around also chimed in dryly. Yes. The system said lie. You two are really good best friends. I thought she would help you tear the scumbag apart. But Mariana suddenly changed the topic. Yasushi made a mistake this time. Shouldn't he kneel on a washboard when he goes home? I nudged Mariana's arm. I won't be so fierce. Mariana joked to me. Then let Yasushi buy you a yacht. You've been nagging for a year about wanting to buy a yacht to have a party with your sisters. I said shyly. Don't. But before I could finish, Alea screamed before me. Are you crazy? No way. Yasushi's expression stiffened. All the guests present were stunned. For a moment, the whole place was so quiet that it seemed one could hear her hair falling. I looked at Alea strangely. Countless gazes shot at her from all directions. I watched as her face turned from red to white. Mariana curled her lips. Yasushi, isn't this your employee? Why does your spending money on your wife need the approval of your subordinate? Yasushi's mouth curved into a smile. The hand around me never let go. He said calmly. It was my intention to buy a yacht for RR as a gift. I was discussing the yacht model with my subordinates before to give RR a surprise. It's just that Miss Mariana happened to mention it just now. My subordinate was worried for a moment that it would ruin the surprise I carefully prepared. Mariana raised an eyebrow. So that's it. That night, I not only had a yacht of my own. During the inevitable auction session of the charity gala, Yasushi also bought a famous painting worth 5 million yuan for me. I was moved to tears. Husband, you are so good. Then I blushed and nudged the system. System. Look. He is so handsome. I can't be wrong. Hissed the system finally spoke after watching the drama for a long time. Why do I feel more and more strange? On the day when I visited my precious yacht, Yasushi was on a business trip to another province. And the mechanical broadcast sound in my mind went crazy. Compensation received, 500. 0 yuan. Compensation received, 1 million yuan. I was so startled that I stopped in my tracks. The system reminded, this price represents that everything that should have happened has happened. According to our colleagues who assessed the damage, the mistress was dissatisfied that Yasushi bought you a yacht. Your husband is comforting her. My legs went weak and I almost fell. It was Mariana who supported me. Looking at my best friend's anxious expression, I opened my mouth but couldn't say a word. My fingers were trembling. Mariana and other sisters helped me into the room. I held Mariana's hand. The mirror in the room reflected my face. From cheeks to lips, it was all pale. Mariana. I feel bad. Finally able to speak after a long time. My voice was hoarse as if it had been ground by 200 cat ties of gravel. Mariana and I looked at each other for a long time. Finally, she understood. She patted my back and comforted me. It's okay. My sister will find someone to help you adjust. The system popped up in confusion. Is she going to boil traditional Chinese medicine for you? Believe me, traditional Chinese medicine can't cure a scumbag. That scumbag also asked the public relations to buy loving wife like life marketing. The stock price soared. The system sighed. You take him as your husband. He uses you to make money. Mariana and my sisters ordered 20 male models for me, covering various styles. Inside my yacht, the lights were flickering. Everyone sat in a circle. I drank a glass of wine fed by a cute guy. Tears couldn't be controlled and fell down. Why? I was already drunk. My cheeks were starting to get hot. Why does Yasushi's handsome face match a rotten cucumber? I took the wine glass from the cute guy's hand and gulped it down. But the more I drank, the angrier I got. I turned around and threw the glass out. The glass shards scattered all over the floor. I propped up my drunk eyes and pinched the cute guy's chin and looked carefully. The cute guy subconsciously held his breath. He even imperceptibly moved closer to me. I let go of my hand and turned around and leaned on Mariana's shoulder. The cute guy is not bad. It's just a pity. This face is not as handsome as Yasushi's. Compensation received, 1 million yuan. The system's friendly reminder came online again. They started for the second time. I cried sadly and wailed to the system. System. Yasushi's face is dirty. I don't know if it was because I cried so miserably. The system's tone was much gentler today. Why do you have to hang yourself on one tree? You are so beautiful. Are you worried that you can't find someone more handsome than Yasushi? I am worried. I am extremely worried. I was on the verge of collapse. After 3 years of marriage, I really haven't met anyone more handsome than Yasushi. The system was speechless and simply pretended to be dead and didn't pay attention to me anymore. I was filled with sadness and accepted the 2.5 million yuan tonight with tears. Since Yasushi and Alea had a passionate encounter, the number of times he didn't come home became even more frequent. He didn't accompany me during the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day. On Christmas, he still didn't come home. The reason was that there was an important project in the company going online. As the president, he had to personally supervise it. The Christmas feast on the dining table gradually cooled. I was lying alone on the sofa, listening to the mechanical broadcast sound that was enough to numb me, while looking at the WeChat messages Yasushi sent me. Compensation received, 10. 0 yuan. 30,000 yuan. 50,000 yuan. 30,000 yuan. 100. 0 yuan. 50,000 yuan. 500. 0 yuan. 1 million yuan. 500. 0 yuan. 1 million yuan. 500. 0 yuan. 1 million yuan. What a vivid compensation received. My face turned from white to yellow. The system neither spoke sarcastically nor yelled in disappointment. It seemed to have given up on me. During this period, I poked it from time to time, but it told me to be quiet and said it was thinking. But today is a big festival. I am really lonely and can't help but want to find someone or a system to her ass. System. System. Little system. System baby. What? The familiar tone of disgust was so pleasant at this moment. I adjusted my sleeping position on the sofa and asked curiously. System. You should be able to take on a human form, right? The system was silent for a moment. Why do you think I can take on a human form? Oh, in my imagination, you should be like an ATM. Under the cold shell of a money-counting machine, there is a person sitting upright. Let me see. I think it's better for us to maintain a cold, insurance salesman and insured relationship. I sneered. Why? Are you afraid that after I see your human form, I will sleep with you? The system started to be disgusted again. That's not it. After this period of service, I clearly realized that except for your scumbag husband, you don't like anyone else. I sighed softly and touched the pillow with a sad face, feeling extremely regretful. Yasushi has such a good face. It should be made into a specimen and framed before it gets dirty. In this way, This face will not only be always clean but also stay young forever. I don't know if I look too pitiful. Just when I was about to say, never mind, the system suddenly said, all right then. I couldn't help but be stunned. Before I could recover, a young voice came from my side. Then I'll be a human tonight. I quickly turned my head. The moment that figure came into my eyes, I even involuntarily took a deep breath. The mechanical broadcast sound in my mind was still going on, but I couldn't hear anything for a moment. All I could think of was the sunny and handsome college guy in front of me, wearing a white shirt and black pants. He didn't look old-fashioned at all. Instead, he added a touch of abstinence to his vitality. He said he was the system. Damn it. Why didn't he tell me earlier that he looked like this? I slowly sat up from the sofa. I allow you to be called Lao Wang, the college guy. Oh no. The system was stunned. I'm not called Lao Wang. That's not important. I quickly stood up and walked to the system and posed in an enchanting posture. Lao Wang. Oh no. The system tensed up and leaned back. He even unobtrusively moved 2 centimeters away. TSK. So cute. Ding ding. My WeChat rang in an untimely manner. I glanced at the screen. It was a message from Yasushi. I didn't know what he sent because I threw my phone away. Lao Wang. I moved closer to the system. Listen to my heart. Is it flustered? In the half-month when Yasushi wasn't home, I had a happy 15 days. Although I didn't even touch the system's little hand, my eyes said that it had the best experience, since it was made and subtly indicated that it wanted something better. When Yasushi returned home from his business trip, I was painting in the studio on the top floor of the villa. System. Do you have any other clothes besides shirts? I happily completed the last stroke. On the paper, a slender and tall figure. A white shirt wrapping that body seemed to be emitting sunlight, and the scent of mint. I turned around and found Yasushi walking in with a frown. There was also a faint smell of strange lady's perfume on him. I took a look at his face, and then silently turned around and continued to admire my painting. Who are you painting? Yasushi forced a stiff smile. The system's figure is different from Yasushi's. At a glance, he can tell that I'm painting someone else. Not him. A new friend of mine and also my new model. I said happily. Yasushi's smile became even stiffer at the corner of his mouth. But he still said gently, isn't it enough for your husband to be your model? I said calmly, you're always not at home. Of course. I have to find another model. In the past, the figures I painted were all Yasushi. But in the past half-month, I found that I didn't have the desire to paint him anymore. Yasushi stared fixedly at the painting on the drawing board. Then why didn't you draw facial features on your new friend? Nonsense. With such a good face. Of course. I have to secretly enjoy it first. There's no reason to draw it and let everyone see it. I shyly lowered my eyebrows. There will be a day when it will be painted. Since that day in the studio, Yasushi didn't know what had come over him. For a whole month, he didn't work overtime or go on business trips. He even started working from home. He was always wandering around at home. So I couldn't see the system in human form. My eyes were so lonely that they were about to turn red. On this day, a high-end shopping mall in the urban area opened. I casually passed by the study and found Yasushi wearing headphones and having a meeting. I sprinted 800 meters, grabbed my bag and drove out in my Rolls-Royce. System. Show your true form. I excitedly held the steering wheel. Sister will take you for a ride in a luxury car. A handsome college guy appeared in the passenger seat. My eyes. They came alive. The college guy subtly reminded me. Miss Pan. After being bound to you, I have ridden in this luxury car countless times with you. Can it be the same? I retorted. Compared to being in my mind, I prefer you to be in my eyes. The college guy didn't speak anymore. I found that his ears were red. So cute. This piece of clothing can be paired with that A-line skirt. You have a slim waist and long legs. Wearing this is very beautiful. That shade is more suitable for you. Your lip bead is full. That shade is very beautiful on you. You have those very beautiful peach blossom eyes. They have the effect of natural eyeliner. What a sunny, cute, sweet-talking, and aesthetically aware system. He can even distinguish lipstick shades. I was so happy that I seemed to be emitting a holy light all over. Sure enough, people are afraid of comparison. Compared to my lovely system, Yasushi accompanied me shopping only a few times. Every time, he would only praise me with one sentence beautiful, and would never provide any other emotional value. Just when I asked the system to accompany me to look at high heels, my phone rang. Incoming call, second handsome guy. As soon as I answered, Yasushi's voice came through. Wife, where are you? After more than 3 years of marriage, being checked up on for the first time. What a novel experience. I'm shopping in this new shopping mall in the city center. Yasushi paused and asked. Why didn't you call me to accompany you? I saw you were busy. I picked at my finger. So I asked my friend to accompany me. Yasushi's voice instantly became several degrees colder. Friend? Mariana? No. I admitted generously. It's my new model. He's very interesting. The system was originally looking at shoes. After hearing this, he quickly turned his head to look at me. His movement was so swift that he didn't even twist his neck. So healthy. That man? Yasushi's voice became even colder. Why haven't I heard you mention him before? Shall we invite him to a meal to thank him someday? The system ran in front of me and shook his head wildly, shouting in my mind, are you crazy? I don't want to see your husband. Oh my. Even cuter. Oh, he's shy. I can just invite him to a meal. I said with a smile. Anyway, we are husband and wife. I represent you to express my gratitude to him. Yasushi seemed to take a deep breath. Which family's son is he? How did you meet him? I looked at that desperate yet pleasing face. He's an insurance seller. That day, I returned home before it got dark. The system returned to my mind before I drove into the villa. My eyes started to be reluctant again. During dinner, Yasushi asked me if I had a good time today. I complained. Of course I did. Unlike you, in all these years of marriage, you haven't accompanied me shopping much. Yasushi looked at me quietly. I don't know what he was trying to read from my expression. After a long while, he smiled. Then from now on, you bring me along when you go shopping. I punched his arm. No. Every time you go out, you keep a straight face and only swipe your card. You don't praise me either. When we just got married and you accompanied me shopping, there were people speculating whether I was the mistress you were keeping. Yasushi froze. I couldn't help but be amused. So they are naive and don't understand domineering presidents. Dominating presidents will only smile brightly when facing mistresses. For a wife who has already been married, why would they bother to coax her? They just use money to deal with it. I hooked Yasushi's arm and looked innocent and pure. Husband, right? Yasushi was in a bad mood recently. After careful reasoning and rational analysis, I thought he might be under too much pressure at work. So the sensible me started sleeping in a separate room every night, determined to give Yasushi, who makes a lot of money, the sleep of a baby. On this night when I took advantage of Yasushi's meeting for the 20th time and went out to play with my system, I was wearing a nightgown and was about to go to the guest room, when Yasushi suddenly picked me up and threw me onto the bed in the master bedroom. Deborah, I am your husband. Yasushi pressed one knee on the mattress. I was stunned. I know. Yasushi gritted his molars. That handsome face was against the light. In the past, looking at such a, for a scenic spot, I should have started and resting by now. Now I was lying on the bed, calm as still water. Alas, people's hearts are so changeable. You know? Yasushi was so angry that he laughed. Knowing that you still go out and fool around with that insurance seller from time to time? Knowing that you still sleep in a separate room? For more than a month. I haven't even been able to touch you. I hummed. What fooling around. We just went to watch a movie. My wife went to watch a movie with another man and it's not called fooling around. He suddenly raised his voice. I was a little aggrieved. It's not. We just went to watch Boony Bears. How can you slander the lovely bears? Moreover, my husband has already been fooling around on someone else's bed. And I didn't say anything. I just watched an animated movie with a sunny, cute, and extremely aesthetically pleasing handsome college guy. Why is he making a fuss like a screaming chicken? Yasushi clenched his fist, and the veins on his forehead bulged. He gritted his teeth and said, Okay. After saying that, he unbuttoned 2 buttons of his pajamas, and leaned down to kiss me. I received millions of compensation in tears all night. How come he still hasn't been exhausted by Alea? I don't know where I got such great strength. I pushed him to the corner of the bed and fled in panic. Yasushi was stunned by the fall. I ran all the way and got into my beloved Rolls-Royce in the garage. That scared me to death. I patted my heart and complained to the system in my mind. That thing touched Alea. It's so dirty. The system suddenly said anxiously, Squat down. Your husband is coming. I reflexively slid down from the chair and huddled in the car. Trembling. Yasushi didn't find me. Instead, he dressed neatly and drove out in his own old Rolls-Royce. You refused to sleep with him. He's so ashamed and angry. The system analyzed carefully. There is a 90% chance that he is going to find the mistress to sleep with now. No. It's 99. I took out my phone and we chat. During this time, Yasushi has been at home every day. Alea has already come to me. I had long forgotten when I added Alea on WeChat. During this time, she sent me messages every day, promoting her conclusion that the one who is not loved is the mistress. So she is the real wife. The system was shocked. The mistress has come right in front of you. Don't you have any reaction? I was puzzled. Because during this time I've been busy going out and playing with you. Between a handsome college guy and a noisy mistress. Why would I choose the mistress? Soon, a long-lost mechanical broadcast sound rang again. Compensation received, 500. 0 yuan. 1 million yuan. 50,000 yuan. 1 million yuan. 500. 0 yuan. 1 million yuan. The system took on a human form and sat in the passenger seat, looking at me sympathetically. So fast. It seems that your husband has arranged Alea to live near your house. He was wearing a white t-shirt today. System, why do you torture yourself for this scumbag? If you hand over the evidence of his infidelity, you can get more than half of the property when you divorce. The shiny puppy eyes are so cute. System, moreover, our compensation can only be withdrawn to your real account after you divorce and does not belong to the joint property of you and your husband. The voice is so sweet. Miss Pan, the system said angrily. Are you listening to me? I couldn't take my eyes off that face. I'm listening. The system gritted its teeth. Your husband is a scumbag. What are you hopeless romantics thinking? You won't divorce no matter what? I grabbed his shoulder. There was silence in the car. It doesn't matter if he is a scumbag anymore. I looked at him directly. I'm thinking about you all the time now. The system's face and ears turned bright red instantly. So cute. So cute. It's so adorable that there are flowers blooming around my head. The system turned his head to avoid my gaze. Systems don't fall in love. I got closer to him. Then why don't you dare to look at me? Look back. I don't believe your eyes are empty. My hand couldn't help but touch his burning earlobe. The system's head was almost smoking. You are a married woman. You can't cheat and mess around. I was stunned. So this is my stumbling block. I grabbed the system's clothes and opened Yasushi's WeChat under his nose. Then I sent a divorce agreement. Over. The system was stunned. No. When did this thing exist? No. Did you ever think about divorce? Will you divorce? Didn't you think you two love each other deeply? I said shyly. Oh. There wasn't one originally. But Yasushi was unfaithful. And a more handsome person appeared very appropriately. So naturally. There is a divorce agreement. The system looked at me in shock. His mouth opened and closed for a long time before he finally spoke. So, from the beginning to the end, you just coveted Yasushi's good looks? I'm not lacking in love. I snorted twice. But this world is lacking handsome guys. I finally got a handsome guy. After only 3 years of love. He got dirty. Although a more handsome person than Yasushi has appeared. In these years with Yasushi. It's true that I liked his face. And it's also true that I liked him as a person. It's just that I'm not a sentimental person by nature. As long as my husband doesn't betray me, I can love him all my life. As soon as my husband betrays me, I can cut off love with one click. That's just how awesome I am. So when I received the first infidelity compensation, half of my heart died directly. Making him spend money, a lot of money, is my revenge for his infidelity. Previously, I could still maintain the appearance of a loving couple with him for the sake of his face. But now that a face that suits my taste even more has appeared, the resentment of being cuckolded and the novelty of the new handsome guy have made my remaining love for Yasushi start to wither rapidly. Now, we are finally about to enter the stage of being tired of seeing each other. I want to divorce and enjoy even more handsome guys. That night, the mechanical broadcast sound stopped abruptly halfway. Yasushi hurriedly drove back to the villa and pointed at the divorce agreement, and asked me what it meant. My heart had already started looking forward to the happy time after divorce. So I excitedly showed the photos that Mariana had secretly asked a detective to take on the projector. Yasushi's face instantly lost all color. On the projector were all the photos of him and Alea being affectionate. There were even many large-scale ones. The system was shocked again. Damn. You still have this? I haven't seen Yasushi being so unrestrained for a long time. I read in the tone of a wealthy family butler in a melodramatic novel. You see, you have already enjoyed fresh flesh. Now I also want to taste something fresh. Yasushi. Let's divorce. I lit up with starry eyes. So that I can taste fresh handsome guys without moral burden. I don't agree. Yasushi grabbed my hand in panic. I was wrong. I was just momentarily possessed. I will fire Alea right now. I don't want a divorce. Let's not divorce. Okay? I was instantly disappointed. After that day, Yasushi really fired Alea. Alea was so angry that she blocked me when I was shopping. At that time, Yasushi was accompanying me shopping. He smiled and praised me for being beautiful. I was calm. I kind of missed my lovely system. At this time, Alea came up to me and cursed at me. She directly stepped on Yasushi's minefield. Yasushi called the security guards and threw her out. I don't know how he dealt with Alea later. Anyway, I never saw her again. And her WeChat didn't harass me anymore. Yasushi looked at me like he was taking credit. I pursed my lips and said perfunctorily, "You are great." Yasushi smiled. So when can we divorce? Yasushi's smile gradually disappeared. He still refused to divorce no matter what. I didn't understand. He had been unfaithful physically and mentally. Why did he still forcibly hold on to a marriage that couldn't tolerate any flaws? Is the thought process of a president so crazy? In this way, Yasushi became a 24 filial good husband in the eyes of outsiders for 3 months. I decided to give him a quarterly bonus. Yasushi, since you don't want to divorce, then don't divorce. His eyes lit up. Let's sign an agreement. To the outside world, we are a loving couple. In private, we live our own lives. I allow you to find someone else. But I also want to taste fresh handsome guys. The light in Yasushi's eyes seemed to shatter. Can I really not keep you anymore? I thought for half a second and nodded. You have been ambiguous with Alea for so long, and slept with her so many times. You are already dirty. You don't taste good. I don't pick up dirty things to eat. It's not hygienic. Yasushi's eyes were red. He smiled self-deprecating lie. Okay. I understand. After a 1-month cooling off period, I got the divorce certificate. Yasushi felt sorry for me and gave me all his property except for the company. Looking at that fresh seal and the second handsome guy in my contacts, I was filled with emotions for a moment. That day was sunny. Yasushi and I parted at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I knew he watched my back for a long time. But I didn't look back. I knew Yasushi wouldn't be with Alea. But the fact that our marriage had an irreparable crack was already set. I don't like broken things, and I'm not so humble. I don't know why the marital infidelity compensation system thought I was a hopeless romantic. At the moment I got the divorce certificate, my marital infidelity compensation was credited. Well, a huge sum of money. And it's still my personal property. I took the system to Northern Europe and played for a whole month. The lovely little system finally shyly proposed to wake up together during the day. Before waking up, I had a wonderful night. As expected of the system, 1 session is stronger than 6 sessions.